I never thought that kneeling on a church altar could feel more like standing on the edge of a cliff. But there I was, smiling on the outside, suffocating on the inside. I had just finished preaching at a women's retreat in Fairbanks, Alaska. People were crying, some were speaking in tongues, and I was silently begging God to just kill me. They called me Fire Mama, a woman of bold prayers and stronger words. But behind that pulpit voice was a hollow soul, one tormented by shame, spiritual exhaustion, and a bitterness I could no longer bury. 3 years ago, I had a secret abortion while leading intercessory prayer. My husband never knew, neither did the church. I told myself I did it for ministry, but the silence ate me alive. And then, on a freezing night in February, I died, and woke up in a place that still haunts me. And what I saw in hell, especially the pastors, broke me beyond repair. Hello, beautiful souls. Before I continue, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. To all our subscribers, thank you for riding with us. And if you're new here, welcome home. I truly appreciate you. If you have not subscribed yet, I cannot wait for you to hit that subscribe button. It is what powers this channel and keeps stories like this going. Please do not forget to leave a comment. I want to hear your thoughts, your reactions, your stories. Share this video with someone. It just might be the lifeline they need. All right, let me take you back to where it all began. My name is Vivian. I am from Anchorage, Alaska. I have lived here for most of my life. Cold winds, quiet nights, and deep silences. Alaska teaches you how to live with shadows. It was the winter of 2021 when this all started, February 13th to be exact. I was 42, a pastor's wife, a traveling minister, a woman many looked up to. But inside, I was tired. Not just tired from ministry or motherhood. I was tired of pretending. I was tired of being the woman people prayed to become, while I was becoming a stranger to myself. You see, I grew up in a small Pentecostal church. My parents were missionaries, strict, devout, and emotionally distant. We were taught to obey, but not to feel. So I learned early to wear the mask. I could pray, sing, fast, and serve, all without ever being known. And somewhere along the line, I made performance my God. After marrying my husband, Daniel, we planted a small church just outside Anchorage. It grew fast. People loved us. I loved the idea of being needed. But then came the miscarriage, my third one. That baby broke something in me. I remember screaming at God in the hospital bathroom. Why do you keep taking them and calling it love? From that moment on, I began to serve out of obligation, not intimacy. I became cold, mechanical, and critical. My prayers were eloquent, but empty. I judged others harshly because I could not bear to look at myself. And then came the abortion. I got pregnant during a season I was booked for back-to-back conferences. I told no one. I justified it. I spiritualized it. But every time I laid hands on someone, I felt fire crawling at my arms. I started having nightmares of fire, screams, and hands reaching for me. But I ignored them. I was too anointed to admit I was drowning. Too respected to confess I was guilty. Too afraid to tell the truth. Until that night at the retreat, when everything snapped. I had just finished preaching. People were at the altar, wailing. And I slipped into the bathroom, locked the door, and dropped to the floor. I whispered, God, if you still hear me, do not let me wake up tomorrow. And I got my wish. I did not wake up in Alaska. I woke up somewhere else. Somewhere darker. Somewhere where even the pastors were crying. And not because they were worshiping. I remember the cold tile on my cheek. The bathroom light above me flickering like a dying star. I had collapsed after that prayer. but I could still hear the worship music echoing faintly through the retreat center walls. Women were shouting, singing, laughing, and I was slipping out of my body. I did not feel fear at first, just silence, a soft, eerie silence.
Then everything changed.
Suddenly, I felt a sharp pull, like gravity in reverse. I was yanked, as if through a tunnel, violently dragged downward. The air grew thick and hot. My ears rang. There was a deep groaning sound, like metal grinding against metal. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. That was when I knew I was not dreaming. I was dying. And I was not going up. I was going down. The deeper I went, the more the air changed. It smelled like sulfur, rotten meat, and burnt hair. The darkness was not just a lack of light, it was alive. It clung to my skin, thick and oily. I could feel my soul trembling. Then I heard them. Screams. Not screams of pain, but of regret. Endless, hopeless, bitter regret. Like voices gnashing their teeth with every breath. Some were weeping. Some were cursing. Some were preaching. Yes, preaching. And then I saw them. Rows of faces twisted in agony. Flames rising beneath them. Never consuming, only torturing. Souls bent over, some gnashing their own tongues, others clutching their ears as if trying to shut out something worse than fire. And there, right in front of me, was someone I knew, Pastor Jerome. He had led revival meetings in our town when I was a teen. A firebrand. A man who once laid hands on me when I was just 15. I remembered how the power of God fell that night, how we all wept for hours. But here he was screaming. Our eyes locked. His lips trembled. He said, "Vivian, you too?" I shook my head. I wanted to speak. I could not. He cried out, we knew, but we lied. We twisted the word for crowds. We prayed in public and sinned in silence. We thought titles could save us. I fell to my knees, except there was no floor. I hovered, burning without fire touching my flesh, yet feeling every ounce of torment. The pain was not just physical, it was soul deep. Like every unrepented sin had grown teeth inside me. I heard voices shouting Bible verses, like echoes of old sermons. Only this time, they condemned us. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom. Depart from me. I never knew you. Those verses were once my favorite altar call lines. Now, they were daggers to my spirit. I turned again and saw more familiar faces. Not celebrities. Not murderers. Pastors. Evangelists. Choir leaders. Intercessors. People I had shared pulpits with. People whose ministries I had admired. Many were not there because they stopped believing. They were there because they kept pretending, preaching what they no longer practiced, hiding behind grace while drowning in pride. Just like me, the weight of that realization crushed me. I cried out, God, please have mercy. And then, everything stopped. The screams faded, the heat dimmed, the air changed, and a light, a piercing, overwhelming light, broke through the thick darkness like a sword through flesh. And then, I heard a voice. It did not shout. It did not tremble. It was calm, heavy, holy. It said, Vivian, your time has not yet come. Go back. Warn them. My people are not ready. My knees buckled under that voice. My soul convulsed. I felt the light wrap around me, lifting me from the pit. The burning disappeared. The darkness was torn open. And the last thing I saw was a man, his mouth frozen mid-sermon, crying blood as chains dragged him deeper. Then I woke up. back on that bathroom floor,
Sweating.
screaming,
Alive.
but never the same again. I woke up gasping for air, my face drenched in sweat, my body trembling like I had been electrocuted. The bathroom lights were still flickering. The floor beneath me felt like ice. I could hear muffled voices outside the door, women calling my name, but I could not answer them. I was too busy crying, not because of fear anymore, but because of mercy. I should have died that night. I should have stayed in that place. I should have been one of the screaming voices. But instead, I was given a second chance, not because I earned it, not because I repented before I passed, but because grace found me while I was still guilty. That shook me to my core. That broke every ounce of pride still left in me. They took me to a nearby clinic later that evening, and after a few hours of monitoring, they released me. The doctor said it looked like I passed out from exhaustion. But I knew the truth. I had passed judgment, and mercy rewrote my sentence. I stayed quiet about what happened for 3 months. I wrestled. I cried. I fasted. I read the Bible like I was starving. And one night, I fell to my knees in my bedroom and confessed everything to my husband. The abortion, the bitterness, the spiritual emptiness. I expected him to walk away, but he just cried and held me and told me, "Then let's start again, with God for real this time." From that day on, I stopped pretending. I stepped down from every platform. I shut down every event I was scheduled to speak at. And for a whole year, I stayed hidden, learning to love God again in silence, not performance. But the voice never left me. Warn them. My people are not ready. So I started sharing. Quietly, at first. Just one-on-one. In prayer groups. At small gatherings. I told my story, raw and unfiltered. Many did not believe me. Some told me to keep quiet. It made the church look bad. But others, they broke down in tears. One woman told me, "Your story made me confess a sin I hid for 15 years. A young man said he almost took his life until he heard that God gave me another chance. I began to see revival, not the kind with lights and cameras, but the kind where hearts melt under truth, where pride crumbles, where people stop performing and start repenting. I no longer crave the stage. I no longer care about applause. I care about souls, because I saw where we go when we fake it. I saw where I was going. Now I live every day with one burning truth. Hell is real. Mercy is rare. Eternity is one breath away. To you watching right now, I do not know your story, but I know this. Secret sin is still sin. Spiritual titles cannot hide a dying soul.
God sees what we bury.
And He still loves us enough to interrupt our destruction. If you are living a double life, repent. If you are tired of pretending, confess. If you are unsure whether you are right with God, do not wait until you are standing in the fire, crying with the others who knew better. You still have time.
But one day,
You will not. Grace is not permission to sin. It is the power to walk away from it. Hell is full of people who once preached about heaven. Choose life. Choose truth. Choose Jesus for real this time. Have you ever had a moment where you knew God gave you mercy you did not deserve? What would you say to someone hiding in secret sin right now? Drop your answers in the comments below. I read every single one. Your voice matters. It might just save someone else. If this story stirred something in you, please like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to this channel. This is not about going viral. This is about souls. Thank you for watching. Thank you for feeling this with me. And thank you for being part of what God is doing in these last days. More stories are coming.
but for now,
Let this one sit with you. And do not forget, heaven is real. Hell is too.
and grace
is still calling your name.